Hello there, hope you are well today and that you and your loved ones are in good health and in good spirits. We're turning today to look at our sixth picture of the church, looking at these images that are used to help us understand what it means to belong to the people of God and to belong to Jesus Christ. And today's one is one that we have encountered not so long ago in our studies in 1 Timothy. And you find this description of the church in 1 Timothy chapter 3. Let me read these verses to you from verse 14 down to 16. The Apostle Paul writes to Timothy, "Although I hope to come to you soon, I'm writing to you with these instructions, so that if I am delayed, you will know how people ought to conduct themselves in God's household, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and foundation of the truth. Beyond all question, the mystery from which true godliness springs is great. He appeared in the flesh, was vindicated by the Spirit, was seen by angels, was preached among the nations, was believed on in the world, was taken up in glory." Well, this is an interesting picture here. Paul says that the church is the pillar and foundation of the truth. In fact, he uses two pictures here of the church, doesn't he? He says he writes his letter, so all of these lessons that we were looking at, lessons about prayer, about leadership, he says all of this has been given so that people would know how to conduct themselves in God's household, that is, in God's family. We looked at that picture in previous weeks. God's household, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and foundation of the truth. We are not for the first time encountering architectural language to help us understand what the church is, but this is an unusual one. Because we can understand when someone says that the church is built on the foundation of truth. We saw that when we looked at the church as the temple of God. Its architecture is that it's built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, the things that were revealed to them by God are the things that have been passed on to us and are the very foundation stones on which the church is built. But that is not the picture that Paul uses here. Instead, here he tells us that there is a sense in which the church is foundational for the truth. What do we make of that? The pillar and the foundation of the truth, these structural supports which hold up the truth. Well, perhaps what's most helpful is to then just think about what he says in verse 16, just in terms of what the content of that truth is that he has in mind. So in verse 16, he turns to what seems to be a short hymn or maybe even a short creed that the early church memorized and recited. And it goes like this. Verse 16 says, "Beyond all question, the mystery from which true godliness springs is great. He appeared in the flesh, was vindicated by the Spirit, was seen by angels, was preached among the nations, was believed on in the world, was taken up in glory." This is all about Jesus Christ. These are all things describing Jesus Christ. And the way to best get at this is not to try and think of it as a chronological description of this happened, then this happened, then this happened, but actually to see that there's different perspectives on the mission of Christ. So let me try and help you out with this. You see that they're written here in three pairs. First one is, he appeared in the flesh, was vindicated by the Spirit. Here, Paul tells us that an aspect of the truth that rests upon the foundation of the church is what Christ accomplished. He appeared in the flesh, that's telling us about his incarnation. He came as a human being. He was vindicated by the Spirit. That's the sort of language that the Bible uses to describe the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And that is a pretty all-inclusive description. He came as a human being, and included in this is that he died. I mean, there's no resurrection without first dying. So the life, the death, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, this is what he has accomplished. And then the next pair is that he was seen by angels, was preached among the nations. This is the accomplishment of Jesus Christ being made known. Interestingly, when you read the gospel accounts of the resurrection, it's angels who are able to testify to Jesus being risen, first of all. They were first witnesses. And what they saw, seen by angels, has been preached among the nations. This is the commission that's been granted to the church to make the accomplishment of Jesus Christ known, that he has died on the cross for sinners. Well, every nation needs to know about that. And then last of all, he was believed on in the world, was taken up in glory. This then, having gone from the accomplishment of Jesus, making known what Jesus has accomplished, now you have the response to what Jesus has accomplished. Believed on in the world while he has been taken up into glory, where he sits at the right hand of God, reigning. The bottom line is this: the truth that is resting on the church is all about Jesus Christ. He is central to what it means to be the church. And the more and more that we grasp this beautiful creed that we have of what Jesus has done and the need to make that known and the need for a response to that, then the church lives up to this picture of being the pillar and the foundation. The church should be a place where this is obvious what the church is about. This is what the church carries. This is what the church exists for, to make this message about Jesus known. And so if we are tempted as a church to make our main focus anything else, then we're in real danger of ceasing to be the church. Certainly ceasing to be the pillar and the foundation of the truth. And this is a great charge that's been given to us, but of course it's not. It's not about how well we do it. It is as we come to God and we look to him to enable us by his grace, by his enabling Holy Spirit, to be the people of God, that we individually have to be committed to that truth. It's not just enough for us to say that, to think of it in vague, abstract terms, to say that, oh, well, the church does this. No, I need to be committed to this, and you need to be committed to the truth. And as we hold to the truth and keep holding out the truth, then together the church is the pillar and the foundation of truth.